First Things First is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to First Things First. I'm Jen Wolf. That's the Hall of Famer Cris Carter. This is Nick Wright right here. First off, congratulations to Sam. What?
Yes,
I want
go
to
ahead,
Sam
please.
Pepper. Our producer has been gone for weeks and weeks and weeks. We've been holding our breath while he practiced being a first-time dad.
Yes.
He succeeded, so he came back.
Congrats. Pep, now the third smartest member of his family, which is his rightful place.
I didn't say that, Pepper.
It's great to have you back, Pep. Absolutely. Should be the best show we've done in at least 72 hours.
What are you laughing at over there?
I thought you were congratulating us for surviving the weekend with that heat.
Oh.
It had to be 200 degrees here in New York City.
Man.
If you survive, congratulations.
And it was so hot, world. Jenna had to cheat on her diet. She ate like 3 raspberries, 2 blueberries.
2 raspberries and a blueberry. That story
6
travels
Oreos,
fast. That's not what I had.
Rolos.
No sugar this month. Big Monday show for you today. The Lakers may have gotten played by Kawhi. Brett Favre's got some high praise for a pair of young quarterbacks. But we are going to start in Kansas City with the latest from Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs wide receiver will rejoin the team. This after the NFL determined he will not be disciplined or suspended following an investigation into allegations of child abuse. The NFL saying he did not violate the league's personal conduct policy. His teammate Travis Kelce said, quote, "We're just happy to get our guy back." CC, we'll start with you. A lot to get here. Whether or not you agree with the NFL's decision, Tyreek Hill is back. And does that now put the Chiefs on track for a Super Bowl run, having him back in the fold?
I mean, what would we be saying if some of the best wide receivers, if Julio Jones, if Michael Thomas, if they were questionable for the beginning of the season and then they were ruled to be eligible for the first game? We'd be like, wow, it's going to be exciting to see, because those are the most exciting offenses that we have. In this new era, we're going to be throwing the ball 65% of the time. You need a guy, everyone except New England, like Tyreek Hill, because he does so much for their running game, because he adds explosive plays through the running game, the threat. Anytime they put him in motion, how they utilize him, the deep threat, the best, I would believe, in pro football now. And I'm going to tell you, I had a lot of questions about his overall ability as a wide receiver, because we had not seen the size-speed combination body type go from being track speed to being an excellent football player. Maybe a special teams player, return some kicks, return some punts, run some reverses, specialty plays like that. But to be an elite wide receiver, I got to give it to him. Man, he has done the work. He runs all different types of routes in the route tree. He can play in the slot. He can play outside the numbers. As I mentioned before, you can give him the ball out of the backfield. So he's a phenomenal player. And what he does for Travis Kelce and the other receivers in this offense, given that he's coached by Andy Reid, and he's got the best young quarterback in the NFL in Patty Mahomes, yes, they should have Super Bowl aspirations. Last year came up a little bit short to the Super Bowl champs, New England Patriots. But yes, with Tyreek Hill back with that Kansas City offense, this should be the best offense in the NFL this year.
And listen, from a football perspective, you cannot overstate his impact and what a deadly combination Mahomes and Tyreek Hill were last year and project to be this year. He was top 4 in the NFL in every major receiving category, touchdowns, yards, and yards per catch. The best pass-catching duo in football. With respect to Odell and Jarvis, with respect to Julio and Ridley, is Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. It's the best tight end in the NFL, and either the best wide receiver or just best deep threat wide receiver in the league. The Chiefs also, because they didn't know Tyreek was going to be there, moved up in the draft to draft McCole Hardman, who ran a 4.3, who's projects similarly as Tyreek Hill. So they've got in their offense, Tyreek runs a 4.2. Hardman runs a 4.3. Watkins, who runs a 4.4. Their running back runs a 4.4, Damian Williams. And then Travis Kelce, who I believe with Gronk now retired is the best, with respect to George Kittle, the best receiver or the best tight end in the NFL.
Even before Gronk retired, that last year, Travis Kelce, yes, he had already ascended and taken over that. Yes.
So, listen, for the Chiefs, he's incredibly valuable. And I'm sure they're glad they have him back. And I'm from Kansas City. And you guys joke with me about how much I care about this team. You know, if I have rooting interest, it is for this team. But I don't feel good about the fact that he hasn't been penalized. And I know you and I talked about it before the show. It feels uncomfortable that we are talking about the football because it's so impossible to me that he didn't get penalized for anything that happened this offseason.
Whether or not you feel like a crime was committed, there was enough there where it felt like it violated the league's policy on domestic abuse, on threats, on anything like that. I'm just curious what your reaction was, CC, to how the league handled this, and even as a teammate, how you would handle having Tyreek back in the locker room.
Well, a number of things to address, and both of you do have legitimate concerns for different reasons. Jenna, in conversating with you, there's a number of things that aren't comfortable. The safety of his fiance, the threat that he made on that audio recording right there, that should have been dealt with. He should have been at least suspended for a game just for that. And moving forward, like, is she safe? Because she was abused in the past. And a lot of the reason her lack of helping is typical domestic violence things, that they're not going to cooperate. So how is the everyday life for them? Yes, he's going to go on to be an NFL star, but what's the safety of his fiance and the safety of that child? There was a broken bone. And a lot of people say, well, what happened to Adrian Peterson? What happened to Tyreek Hill? What's the difference? Well, there's a couple of differences. Number one difference was Tyreek Hill, he didn't admit to being part of that broken bone. Right. Adrian Peterson said that he did what occurred to this kid, but the conflict there was, I'm going to raise my kid a certain type of way, and you might have a difference with that. So both of you have legitimate reasons that why he wasn't penalized, and you're concerned moving forward. Even if he was suspended, there would be concern for the child moving forward and for the potential for his spouse moving forward.
Well, so here's the thing. This is what happened to that little boy. There's only 3 people in the world that know, and maybe only 2, but the mother, Tyreek, and the little boy. And that is complex. I listened to the initial audio recording, then I listened to the longer audio recording. I also, a young man that I actually hired in Kansas City is the one that released the longer form one. And so I've been talking with him throughout this. The broken bone for the little boy, as awful as it is not a black and white situation. And I totally understand why the NFL, much like the Johnson County District Attorney's Office, might have a gut feeling on what happened.
But no one actually has any evidence to who committed that crime.
And doesn't feel comfortable penalizing, either from a legal perspective or from a football perspective, for the little boy's broken arm, as tragic as that situation could be. But no one disputes, including Tyreek Hill and his attorney, that he is on that audio recording saying, "You should be terrified of me too," B-word, to Crystal Espinal. And that is arguably suspendable in a vacuum. It is certainly suspendable when you add the context of, this is a woman that Tyreek Hill has pled guilty to strangling and punching, albeit 5 years ago.
Sure.
And so it is vexing to me why the NFL did not say, while we have not determined what happened to the child, given Tyreek Hill's history, given that our personal conduct policy says threats can be suspendable in a domestic violence context, Tyreek Hill's going to have to sit out for a couple games. I don't think anyone would have complained. I don't think anyone, and I think people would have understood, okay, if he broke the kid's arm, he should be out of the league, but we don't know if he did. The DA's office doesn't know what he did. But Tyreek is not saying, that's not me on the recording. That recording's edited. He said, his lawyer said, listen, it was a bad comment, he didn't mean it. Okay. But
still a threat.
It's still a threat. And in my mind, it's still suspendable, and that's the part that I don't understand why the NFL didn't act on.
And the people who might want to criticize the NFL and Andy Reid is going to be a coach that's always going to give guys second and third chances. And the NFL, for 100 years, has always been a league of second and third chances. This is not the NBA. This is not the NHL. This is not Major League Baseball. The group of athletes and what they're going to do to them is going to be a little bit different. And it seems like, Jenna, in conversating with you a couple years ago, they came out really hard on the domestic violence issue, suspending guys left and right. Now it seems like their style is more of a Mayweather.